frustration over these delays and the impact they have had on the community at a standing room only July 30th town hall at Bethesda Temple Church, widely covered by the media, including ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC. The burden of these unexplained delays should not rest on the shoulders of the Crenshaw Corridor community, which acted in good faith and supported this historic project. If the city fails to provide a complete and substantive response to this correspondence within 30 days of the date of this letter, the Crenshaw Corridor community reserves its right to pursue all of its rights and remedies. Sincerely, the Crenshaw Corridor community. To read the complete letter detailing all of our demands, go to our website at kbla1580.com. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
KBLA Talk 1580. It's time for Messy Monday. And I have somebody in the studio who has agreed to share her perspective with us. You know her more as an activist. You know her as the host of the Youth Vanguard Takeover on This Is Not a Drill on Saturday mornings here on KBLA for Black Lives Matter Grassroots and BLMLA. You know her as an organizer, a college student, and much more. But she's also an opinion. What do you call it? What would you call your presence on social media? I don't want to say the wrong thing. An opinion person.
I don't even
influencer.
Know
Are you an influencer?
I guess.
Yeah.
Say so.
I think probably. Well, I don't know if you consider yourself that, but I'm sure society would consider you an influencer.
Mm-hmm.
And you opine about many different things, including relationships.
Right.
I'm pretty sure you're not saying you're an expert because you're, 19?
Yeah, no.
Not an expert. But nevertheless, each generation and each individual has their own outlook, and that's kind of what we're trying to get to for Messy Monday. Do you have a rule? First of all, welcome. Thank you for coming in.
Of course.
I know this is really early for the Gen Z
I'm
team.
an early bird.
Really?
I wake up at 6 most mornings, so
okay.
It's not that early for me.
All right. So, do you have rules? Do you have do's and don'ts of dating?
I definitely have do's and don'ts of dating, but I will say that I think that my personal rules are a little bit more unconventional than most women in my generation.
Really, even in your generation?
Yes, because I think that there's kind of a resurgence of traditional values in relationships. And that's really just not how I was raised. Not only was that not how I was raised, that's not what I want to do. And that's not the type of man that I would want to be with. So it's just, I think that I've kind of strayed away from a lot of the expectations that are being pushed towards young women, or that we're being told that we should have. In a lot of ways.
So you're not a trad wife, aspiring trad wife.
No.
Or the traditional wife, this sort of back to the kitchen, retro relationship trend. Okay, maybe because the only Gen Z people that I'm consistently around are my child's friends.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's not traditional either. I always think of your generation as being very experimental.
I think that we're experimental in a lot of ways, but in terms of heterosexual relationships, I think that we tend to, in terms of what is widely talked about, and that what I hear a lot of my friends saying, and a lot of like other women just being in college saying what they want in terms of a partner, it has kind of started to revert back to traditional values. And that's something that I feel like is just kind of a sign of the times. Like, you know, I think that we are moving in a lot of ways closer towards conservatism, and I think that that started to reflect in our relationships. So, yeah, I'm trying to resist that in my...
So it's not just a political conservatism that's gripping our country and our world. You think it's also social conservatism?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, it makes sense because there are actually people that believe that women should not vote.
Yes.
And that's one of their real platform agendas.
Yes. And I think a lot of the times people kind of try and dress it up as being like feminist. Like, you know, when women say that they would love for a man to pay for their entire life and things like that. A lot of the times women will like kind of make this argument that because we've had it so much harder throughout history, or because it's harder for us to do certain things, because women don't make as much as men still to this day, the fact that it's easier for men to be financially stable, and like considering the history of men being more financially stable and having, you know, the ability to build wealth for themselves over centuries, it only makes sense that now in relationships they would, you know, kind of pay it forward in a way. It doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah, I've heard something similar to that too. I have heard that kind of justification, but I feel like it's a stretch.
And also, I personally am never going to, like, I would never want somebody to, like, have, like, some sort of leverage on me in my relationship, you know? And I think that, like, when we are telling young women, especially, like, the fact that, you know, everybody is on social media now. Like, I got on social media when I was, like, 12. And, you know, although I would, like, looking back, I should not have been on social media at 12. There are these things that are being pushed to young women from such a young and impressionable age to where, like, you actually think, like, oh, that makes sense, you know? And so, yeah, I think that it's just something that I wouldn't want for myself, and I don't want it for a lot of people.
Well, you consider yourself a feminist, right? Womanist, feminist?
Yeah,
somewhere in between?
Something around there.
Okay.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
So, because it sounds like what you're not loving is the label, or you just...
I'm not loving the label. I'm also just not, like, a very... I'm not a very, like... I'm not loving labels, period. Like, okay. I don't really, like to label myself a lot of things, but... Yeah, I have some feminist values. I have some womanist values.
I like the way you said that. All right, you need to run for office. The way you turned that around. But I mean, I do consider myself to be a feminist, womanist, and also as a heterosexual woman who has more, I won't say traditional, but you know, not wildly innovative relationships. It's sometimes it is a balance. It's not that easy to balance because people want you to take sides, like, be it, no, I'm not a trad wife. I'm not going to wash all of your socks and, you know, make butter from scratch. Sorry, not interested, it's just not something that seems fun to me.
Right.
And I know not all life is fun, but look, I've got 2-3 jobs. I got things I like to do. On the other hand, you know, I'm not ready to be, you know, in a polyandrous, you know, open relationship, no rules type scenario either. That's not where I am either.
Yeah. So I would not say that my relationships are like wildly, what is the term that you use? Wildly innovative?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that either. Like, I'm not doing that polyamorous stuff. I'm not going to, like, I don't know. Like, people be doing some very different things in their relationships. I wouldn't say that my relationships are necessarily, like, extremely non-traditional from an outside perspective. But I think a lot of the times when it comes to, like, what I would look for in a partner, although, like, it may manifest in a way that, like, looks traditional from an outside perspective, I think that, like, the attitudes of the people in the relationship is really what matters the most. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, it makes sense. It's not the structural component.
Yeah.
It's the content that's inside the structure.
Yeah, like, I really love to cook. You've seen me
Yeah,
cook,
you're good at it.
I love to cook. So naturally that would translate to, you know, how I would show up for my friends, family, a partner. But that does not mean that I'm like, my job is in the kitchen, you know?
Right.
And so although I may do certain things that fit the traditional, the view of what a traditional woman is supposed to be, I do not want to be held to that. I don't want to be held to the expectation of wash my clothes, when I come home, dinner needs to be on the table, blah, 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 blah. And obviously I'm not living with anybody that I'm dating, but, you know.
Yeah, you're going to college for the record. Yeah. Yes, Amara Kioni Abdullah is here, and we'll continue this conversation. It's a messy Monday. I'm curious when we come forward and talk a little bit about, you know, some of the attitudes you're seeing on campus. You go to an HBCU, and I'm sure these are topics of conversation. It's a messy Monday. Let's redefine things how we see them, how it makes sense, what is actually modern, and what we keep from the traditional and what we throw away. All that straight ahead on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Just in case you missed our Procrastination Crenshaw Town Hall.
And we are here on the chopper side of Los Angeles to simply lift up black dignity, black honor. No spirit of hatred here. We here because we love our people. We love the people of this community. We love the people of every corner of this city. But some of us start on the chocolate side. And so all of the critiques, all of the calls for accountability have nothing to do with ad hominem attacks on any elected official. It has to do with either indifference or incompetence, maybe even corruption. We don't know, but we just want to make sure that everyday people in this community are treated with the dignity that they deserve. That's why we're here.
Holding them accountable. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The KBLA 1580 app puts the realest conversations right in your pocket. Stream live wherever you are in the world. No static. No searching the dial. A crystal clear connection 24/7, exactly when you want it. We recommend that you keep automatic updates enabled. Set it and forget it. So the app stays up to date with store requirements, bug fixes, and new features as we roll them out. Download the KBLA 1580 app today and stay plugged into the conversation everyone's having.
This summer, the honey pepper pimento chicken sandwich and pineapple dragon fruit and Sprite are back at Chick-fil-A.
It's back. We've been waiting. I love that honey pepper pimento sandwich. And that pineapple dragon fruit and Sprite is everything. It's got that razzle-dazzle that makes you stop and say, okay, wait a minute.
I love the creaminess of the pimento cheese. It's savory, it's bold, it's flavorful.
Our faves are back.
Which fan favorite will you choose? Real customers paid for their testimonials.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So, I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call Select
SelectQuote at 1-800-729-7070. That's 1-800-729-7070. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-729-7070. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Amara Kioni is here. You can hear her from time to time when the youth vanguard takes over. This is Not a Drill, Saturday mornings at 8 on KBLA. How does it feel to be sitting on that side of the mic?
It feels a little strange, but I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you, Amara Kioni Abdullah. You know what? I felt bizarre when I was sitting over there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just right across the table, but it
feels so different.
It's a totally different orientation. It's a messy Monday, looking at a Gen Z perspective on relationships, the rules of the road, how you see things. And you were talking about how a lot of folks, younger folks, the Gen Z group, is going traditional, this whole trad wife trend or the soft life. People talk about the soft life.
Yeah. So I honestly, keep in mind I'm a college student, so most of the women that I'm around are, educating themselves. So that's not to say that women don't value education. That's not to say that anybody is ruling out the importance of having some sort of fallback plan. But I think a lot of the times there is this notion that you should, yes, go to college, but while you are in college, be
find a husband.
Find the engineering major, find the pre-law, find the pre-med, all of those things. And I think it's really funny because I've heard a lot of women say that, yes, they're in college and they may start working, but when it's time to get married, they're going to cut that out. And so
they must either have a really rich fiance or they don't live in a big city.
Yeah.
Because we need two incomes around here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I also just feel personally for myself, there are just so many things that, there's so many things about that I just wouldn't want for myself. I wouldn't want to feel like my responsibility was to my household only. You know what I mean? I think that, I'm somebody who has always really wanted kids, and that's still not let me not say not going to be the highlight of my life because I've never had kids, but I think that there's an array of things that should bring a person joy or that I could see bringing me joy, and that's just not the sole thing, although it may be a really important part of my life.
Yeah, forensic accountant says there will be a resurgence in traditional values when the movement to AI removes millions of people from the workforce.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll see. If AI removes people from the workforce the way the internet did, then it's going to just remove them to a different job.
Yeah, and I think that we always have these conversations about whether these new kinds of technology are going to take away jobs in mass amounts. I think the answer is yes and no. There is always going to be a job that no longer exists, but there are also new jobs, and I don't know how that's going to affect our relationships. I think our relationships are in a weird place right now because there have always been really clear expectations for men and women. We've always been very open about the fact that, we expect men to act one way, we expect women to act one way, and then that also translated to the workforce, the fact that women, widely made less money, the fact that women weren't going out and getting their education as much as men were. It created, it translated to people's relationships, and I think that with heterosexual relationships now, they're kind of in a weird position where people don't really know what to expect from one another because money is a part of relationships. And so when money is not being integrated into the relationship, or at least there's no unspoken expectation about how to go about navigating your financial contribution to your relationship, then it also is going to kind of leave people in like an unknowingness.
So it sounds like you're saying that the unclear or the, I don't want to say unclear, but less clear or evolving gender roles mean less clear financial roles.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons why we have all these arguments on social media about 50-50. What does it mean to go 50-50?
Yeah.
Would you go 50-50? Do you go 50-50?
I wouldn't say 50-50, but I think that there are some times where it's just like, okay, like I'm at the store, I'm getting something for myself, I know I'm about to go see you, let me get you a little snack. I'm not going to have you reimburse me for the snack. Like, that's a little strange. And I think that there's also just this like idea that like if a woman is to like pay for anything, she's being walked all over. Like,
right.
I don't see how that could be the truth. But you know, you can only convince people so much.
Yeah. Well, did you, when the big debate was going on about whether or not, it's not a big debate, not hardly a big debate, but little debate about whether or not the girl put out the video saying she would never go to the Cheesecake Factory. She had to dump the guy because he wanted to take her to the Cheesecake Factory.
Let's keep in mind, I'm also 19.
Right.
So it's just like, where are y'all going to where Cheesecake Factory is too cheap for you? Like, I think Cheesecake Factory is a nice restaurant. I go there with my friends all the time.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind going there on a date. I think that when I think about what I would want in a date, as long as it's like thoughtfully planned, I am cool. So like Cheesecake Factory, movies, I don't know, maybe like looking at the beach at night or something, like at the end of the day. You know, like as long as it's like that can be a part of it, I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really clear and actually good guideline. Is it well planned? Did you put any thought into it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not, is it Cheesecake Factory or
no.
Nobu? Yeah. And actually, honestly, I don't want you blowing your entire paycheck. You know?
Yeah.
That doesn't show good financial decision making.
Yeah.
On my part, on your part, to me.
Mm-hmm.
But when you, on campus, you know, okay, so my impression of Gen Z, I told you, is a little more wild, but maybe that's because it's through my kid. But I hear a lot about ethical non-monogamy, you know, sort of gender and sexuality on a spectrum. I was calling y'all the gay generation. I know that not everybody's gay, but there's so many people that call themselves pansexual, meaning, you know, gender is not the determining factor in the relationship. So, you know, I guess what you're saying is interesting because I do see that traditional thing. But what's dominant on campus?
I think that on campus, number one, we have like we have a very strong rise in situationships. You have to keep in mind, HBCUs are like hormone pools. Like, HBCUs are actually like everybody, because these are people, first of all, we're talking about the AUC, specifically Spelman and Morehouse. Most people who go to Spelman and Morehouse are from, not most of them, but a large chunk of them are from, you know, what I like to call uppity black people families.
Middle class black.
Yes.
Right.
So, you know, many of these people were not raised around that many black people. If they were, it was a specific kind of black people. And so when they get to campus, it's just like, oh my gosh, everybody is fine. Everybody is like cool. Everybody has something to offer. So it's like nobody is like, I want to be tied down, especially not freshman or sophomore year. But what me and my friends were actually talking about a few months ago is that once they start to get to like second semester, junior year, they're like, okay, it's time to get serious in life. And I need to find my forever person because everybody wants the HBCU love story, but everybody wants to like have fun in college as well. So yeah, we have a lot of situationships. So when you talk about ethical non-monogamy, I don't know that I would call it that. Not with my specific age group, because situationships are like, usually the stereotype with a situationship is that a woman would want the relationship, and the man is kind of stringing her along and just getting all the relationship things, and we call it playing house.
Right.
Like, we will, like, be cooped up in the dorm, folding each other's laundry, things like that, giving, like, back massages, and the whole time we have, like, no label on the relationship. So it's kind of like there's different sides to it.
All right, well, I know you know the clock. That's why you're reeling it in, because it's time for news, traffic, and sports. But it sounded like the situationships, we can get into this more when we come forward, are not always following that traditional pattern. They can be in all kinds of different patterns. I love that. Oh, wait till I'm a senior, and then I'll find my forever person. 800-920-1580 if you got a question or you want to get in the conversation. It's a Messy Monday on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Illinois is strengthening protections for women and domestic violence survivors.
The first bill, Senate Bill 3325, strengthens menopause education and training so that healthcare providers can give patients the information they need to navigate a truly important stage of life.
That's Governor J.B. Pritzker, who has signed new legislation that expands orders of protection to cover digital harassment and other forms of technology-facilitated abuse. Former President Joe Biden's cancer has spread, according to his son Hunter Biden. In an interview with the BBC, Hunter said the disease has metastasized to his father's bones and beyond, describing the condition as painful and debilitating. Biden revealed his cancer diagnosis last year after leaving office. And the story of Michael Jackson is heading back to the big screen. Lionsgate says a sequel to the hit biopic Michael is in development, with filming expected to begin next year following the success of the first film. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Recall 67A mobile appointments are now available in your area. We come to you, quick, easy, and under an hour. Complete the recall to get $500, plus a warranty worth thousands. Schedule today at CummingsRecall.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers have generated some sad numbers over the past 2 weeks. Their 4-2 loss Sunday at Arizona capped a 1-5 road trip. The Dodgers are 1-8 in their last 9 games, and they are 5-10 since hanging out with Trump at the White House on July 23rd. The Dodgers are back home tonight to start a 3-game series against the Kansas City Royals. The Rams expect to have an answer later this week from defensive tackle Aaron Donald on whether he's coming out of retirement to rejoin the team. The 35-year-old Donald has been working out at the Rams facility. Rams head coach Sean McVay has not put a deadline on Donald to make a decision, although it appears Donald is getting close. The 10-time Pro Bowler retired after the 2024 season. NFL sources claim Donald wants to be sure he can play at a high level before telling McVay he's ready. Stay tuned. No debate, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
What's good, KBLA delegation? I am Miles Lowe, and I'm excited to be joining the weekend lineup right here on KBLA Talk 1580. Join me every Saturday at 12 noon for the Do Better Show, where we get into the world of tech, AI, the creator economy, navigating your mental health through it all, and have conversations with founders to find out how real people are making real money right now. It's not a course, not a subscription. Classes in session every weekend, live on the air. If you knew better, you do better, right? So let's make a better you. The Do Better Show, every Saturday, 12 noon, replaying again at 7 p.m. right here on Unapologetically Progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We got a lot to talk about.
You have something to say, and we want to hear it. KBLA Talk 1580 is engagement radio, not outrage radio. A place where your hopes, your frustrations, and your ideas are welcome 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Real talk, real people, real Los Angeles. KBLA Talk 1580, the station that sounds like the city looks. Tune in on your AM radio dial at 1580. Download our free KBLA 1580 app or listen live on our website at KBLA1580.com. Don't be anxious or confused about AI. Take control of your career when you get the skills to tackle real business problems and design specialized solutions. HR Dive reported that entry-level talent with applied AI credentials can receive up to a 25% salary boost. But where do you find training that you can trust? Future-proof your career and deliver more value with Humans Lead the Way AI. Their hybrid learning courses use practical definitions, real-world examples, and strategic insights to help you and your team understand AI with confidence. No magic, no hacks, no shortcuts. Just practical knowledge that helps you use AI more successfully. Don't wait. AI can never replace people who know how to use it well. Register for courses today at humansleadtheway.com. That's humansleadtheway.com.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
It's a messy Monday, but we haven't been that messy today. I think we've been pretty straight down the middle. Amara Kioni Abdullah is here. She is a radio host. She's a college student. She's an activist, one of the founders of Black Lives Matter Youth Vanguard. I don't know how you balance all these different things in your life, but somehow you do it.
Yeah.
Make it look easy.
Yeah, it really doesn't feel like that much most of the time.
Okay. Well, good for you. That's a sign of a phenomenal woman.
Mm-hmm.
So, talking about these situationships, you said the stereotype is the woman's playing house, the man's getting all the benefits of marriage or a relationship without putting a title on it.
Yeah.
But were you starting to say that that's not how they play out, that they're playing out in different ways now? Or?
Well, I think that I've started to see a lot of women who are kind of coming out of that, like, I need a title. So when you talk about, like, ethical non-monogamy, like I said, I wouldn't necessarily call what I've seen ethical non-monogamy, but I will say a lot of people are kind of like, have you seen this thing on social media where, like, people say having a boyfriend is embarrassing?
No.
So people are starting to say that having a boyfriend is embarrassing, and it's like kind of like a social media argument, but it definitely is like an unspoken thing, because especially in HBCU environments, you're probably getting cheated on, you know, and or at the very least, like, you might not be getting cheated on, but like your boyfriend has probably been caught at a party, like talking to a girl, dancing with a girl, and you making your relationship public is only going to make it so that you can get like a hey girly text. You know what that is? Like, people will say that, okay, the hey girly text is like when a girl who is dealing with your man DMs you and she says, hey girly, I just found out blah blah blah, and I thought you should know. And so, like, people are trying to avoid that altogether, and so I think that when people like have public relationships, unless they are like absolutely 100% sure that their partner is faithful, they would rather just keep it on the low. But I think it's also like yeah, it's crazy, but I honestly really do understand it, because, you know, I think that I saw something that said that most relationships are more successful when they're private. And although that these people would not call themselves like in relationships, a lot of the times they're only really dealing with each other. So it's like, although you may flirt with somebody or something like that, like you're kind of in a relationship behind closed doors.
Yeah, but that makes sense. I can see why women would say that, because if you're claiming that man or woman as, you know, your boyfriend or girlfriend, and they're over here shooting their shot, you do look like...
Yeah, it's just like you think that this is your man, but he was just blah, blah, blah.
Right.
You know how, and I think another thing is, like, we all know how women talk about each other. And so it's like, when you have to put that into the equation, it's just like, okay, now not only do I have to worry about my man not doing what he's supposed to do, now you are also bringing women into the conversation, and now I have to watch my back with women too, because they're probably talking about me because they think they know something that I don't know.
Whereas if he's not your boyfriend, then they wouldn't feel
Number
they
one,
should
would
be
they
reporting
feel
to you.
number one, they wouldn't feel the need to comment on it,
Right.
or not in the same way.
Yeah.
But number two, 9 times out of 10, they don't know about it because you're keeping it under wraps.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to be private that way, not because I knew about having a boyfriend. This is embarrassing, but just because sometimes I feel like people want to come after you or come after the person you're dating because they know you're dating them if you're in the spotlight in some kind of way. So
yeah, just kind of coming out the woodworks with, oh, did this person did this? Did you know this about them?
This would be a hater kind of thing. You're a very, very beautiful woman. I'm sure you hear that all the time. It runs in your family. You know, all your siblings are good looking. Your mama is gorgeous. But does that change the rule of the game? I think it would. I feel like in some ways it could put more pressure on people. Think, oh, they have it easy because everyone's trying to shoot their shot. But I would think in some ways it would add pressure. How do you see it?
I think that it's funny because, like I think a lot of the times people make the assumption that like women who are good looking are treated better. And you know, I've never experienced dating when I don't look the way that I look. So I don't.
Right, you have nothing to compare it to.
Yeah, I have nothing to compare it to. But I will say that, like, you know, I was just having this conversation with a friend the other day. You can only expect people to treat you as well as they're capable of treating you. Like, it has nothing to do with how good you look. It may have a little bit to do with how good you look based on like the type of person that you're attracting, but aside from that, I think that men tend to have this like conquering mindset, you know? They just want to be able to say that they did it. And so it's just like, if I am allowing like somebody into my life, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to like see that as, oh my gosh, she gave me a chance, let me not mess it up. Like, I think a lot of the times it's literally just like, oh yeah, bro, I did that. I was just with her, blah, blah, blah. So, I don't know. Like,
sadly, I don't know that men ever grow out of that.
Yeah, honestly, I really don't.
I don't think maturity helps. Don't get mad. I'm not bashing the men. It's just, you know, that's my experience.
Yeah.
You know.
So, I don't know. I think that, like, it does kind of irritate me a little bit when people do make those assumptions, but I live a very happy life whether or not I'm in a relationship, so it's fine.
Well, you know, I mean, people say, oh, we've been through this so many times, like Halle Berry, oh, he cheated on her, like somehow because she's beautiful.
Halle Berry
no one
was
would cheat on.
Wrong. Beyonce was cheated on.
Right.
Like, all of these people who we say would never get treated in a certain way, like, you can't expect people to not be themselves just because they have something that they really wanted in front of their face, or something that everybody is telling them they need to hold on to in front of their faces about who you are as a person. And so I can't really like say that you know, I have been the exception to the rule. I like to always like assume that I'm not the exception to the rule, even though like people like to act like you are if you are attractive. Because I just think that a lot of the times, like, you have to let people show you who they are.
Okay, so Yogi Fish says feminists don't like being claimed under the rules of boyfriend or girlfriend. I don't mind being claimed. I don't want to be humiliated, though. I don't think anybody wants that, feminist or otherwise. You know, like, Forensic Accountant says, let me say this, these days men are prouder about retiring their mothers than retiring their wives. I don't know.
Well, I don't know that I would want to be retired, so I don't have much to say about that. I think that the only time where I've ever thought about, like, maybe not wanting to stop working and focusing on my family is, like, the first couple years after having a child, and then I would probably want to go back.
Yeah. Do we still have the traditional scenarios for Gen Z where guys actually ask you out and have a plan?
Most of the time, if I'm talking to a man, I almost, like, I can probably think of one or two times where I've made the first move.
So usually it's more traditional in that sense.
Yes.
They're asking you out. They have a plan.
Yes, but I think that the attitude underneath that is usually that, like, you just don't want to boost his ego. Like, if you go up to a man at a party, then he's going to, and people are all seeing this, his head is going to be so big. Oh, you saw what's her name came and talked to him. Because that never happens in the same way.
Right.
So it's just like, I think that that's more of what it is instead of like, that's not a woman's place.
Right. But one reason I'm asking is because I do hear this a lot. It's a stereotype among, older generations about Gen Z and millennials is that men don't know how to ask women out anymore.
Well, I think that a lot of the times they try to let the phone do the work for them. But I personally am more interested when I meet a person in person because of the fact that, like, people on the internet, especially for me as somebody who has, like, sort of a large following, people on the internet are literally, like, not real. So it's like, if I'm not seeing you and I can't, like, actually attach a personality or a body to whatever, like, is coming at me, then it's just like, you're just another one. You know?
You could be a bot. You could be a blackfish, catfish, something fish.
Yeah.
So, I have also read this, and I know a lot of these journalists make this stuff up, so I'll ask you that for Gen Z in particular, experiences are more important than possessions.
Elaborate.
Well, meaning, like you just said, I'd rather see you face to face than, get a text or even a cash app. I'd rather go do something than have you give me something.
Well, I will say, I agree, because I would like to have, I will say the people who I think of as, like, the most notable are the people who have given me, like, really, really, like, amazing experiences where, like, I got to do something that I wouldn't have done before, or I got to do something that I never did before. And just, like, I guess, like, opening me up to, like, new experiences. But, it's nice when somebody wants to send you some money for lunch. It's just not, like, I'm not going to remember that 30 years from now.
Right. You know what, Kwamel says DePrima's largely staying out of this chat for a reason, LOL. No, that's not right. It's because I don't have Amara here every day. I want y'all to hear more from Gen Z. Y'all listen to me every single day. If you got a question, bring it. I'm here. I'm not dodging questions. Do you feel like, the war or the supposed war, the battle of the sexes that happens on the internet, the manosphere and all that, do you think it's impacting in real life relationships?
I wouldn't say that that's been my experience. Honestly, I feel like even though I've had my share, well, not my share, I've had experiences where, like, I wasn't treated in the best way, or I feel like, somebody kind of, like, took our experience for granted. I would say for the most part I get treated fairly well. Like, I don't feel like I experience, like, a whole lot of, like, men trying to do me wrong or blah blah blah. Like, I don't experience a lot of that.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, because I have a theory that a lot of that manosphere stuff is very online, and because in real life I see black men and women just kicking it, loving on each other, going places.
Yeah, the whole thing where people try to act like black men don't like black women, I don't like that conversation. I understand that there's a level of masculinization that black women have been through, especially dark-skinned black women, and I don't want to undermine that, but in terms of, like, what I actually see to be true in my everyday life, like, most of the time, black women and black men tend to be with one another. And especially because I'm in an HBCU environment, that's, like, all that we see together. On top of that, I'm in Atlanta. So it's like, Atlanta, like, you could be walking around for 3 days straight, and you might not see a white person if you're in the right part of town. So, yeah, I think that it depends on the place. I think that it also is a very LA thing to have black men kind of dating multiple other races, or at least doing it in large numbers.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Forensic accountant says, I don't get it. A lot of black women complain about a lack of protection from us, but then tell us they don't need our protection. I have never told you I don't need y'all protection. And I don't complain about that, because I do find that the brothers step up and look out.
Yeah.
I find that everywhere I go. And
yeah.
Not because they're trying to shoot their shot. They could be old. They could be young. They're just like looking out for a sister. That's my experience.
Yeah, and also as somebody who has I have a good balance between male and female friends, and so I feel like my friends really do show up for me. So I don't know that that's been my experience.
Yep. We're talking with Amara Kioni Abdullah. I'm Dominique DePrima. It's a Messy Monday on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Just in case you missed our Procrastination Crenshaw Town Hall.
Literally right in front of our doorsteps the last 2 to 3 years, we have been interrupted by this nightmare of a project called Destination Crenshaw. The desire was partnership at the onset, but we've seen broken promise after broken promise. We've seen our parishioners impacted. We've seen our peers and our local neighbors impacted directly by this. We've seen the crippling of the Crenshaw economy as a result of this project, starting and then ultimately walking away. And we're not going to just lay down. We're not going to just, pretend like nothing's happening on our doorsteps. And tonight I want to get out of the way because I want to hear from you. I can stand here as a pastor and tell you how many times we've been interrupted from our flow of worship, how it's impacted our ability to provide services to our community, how the blight and how the construction derailment has hindered our ability to amply run our food pantry programs, to offer summer camp programs for our young people, how the construction impacts just our ability to be able to come to church and heart. I can go on about how it's interrupted just our day-to-day operations and being able to accommodate the needs of our community.
Making sure they stick to the truth. We're KBLA, Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. At the heart of the Al Wooten Center's mission for good citizenship and academic excellence is a desire to ensure that every student avoids the kind of lifestyle and overcomes the kinds of challenges that led to the murder of Al Wooten Jr. In 1990, founder Myrtle Faye Rumpf opened the center in honor of her son's life. In 2026, they are serving more than 300 students in grades 3 through 12 annually online and on site at their youth center and other sites in the South LA area. The Al Wooten Jr. Youth Center takes a neighborhood approach to the revitalization and empowerment of a community in crisis. The Wooten Center provides free after-school and summer programs to help students in grades 3 through 12 attain grade-level proficiency and promotion, high school graduation, and college and career access and success. The Al Wooten Center focuses on academics, STEM, the arts, and so much more. Join them for an enriching experience that sparks creativity and nurtures young minds. Tap in at WootenCenter.org. That's WootenCenter.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting your financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
The conversation continues right now with Dominic DePrima on First Things First.
It's a messy Monday, and I'm so happy to have Amara Kioni Abdullah with me. They can find you on social media. Lots of other folks have.
Yeah.
Just look up her name. And okay, so Kwamel wants to know what's your take on the Pop the Balloon show vibe, phenomena, whatever.
I think that's like internet slop.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't like the idea of like people coming on the internet and, okay, let's be clear. Obviously this happens to black men as well, but it's different for black women, and black women are absolutely criticized more. I don't know that I like the idea of like people coming on the internet and like coming on a show and saying like, oh, I popped the balloon because I don't like that you're wearing a weave. I popped the balloon because I think that your lashes are too long, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think that there's just a lot of things that contribute to certain stereotypes that like black women face, that it's just not contributing to any sort of progress.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. It's like a setup for us to tear each other down. And of course, we were looking at the chat during News, Traffic, and Sports, and they're going on about the rejection of black women, and particularly Atlanta being, what they say, the sassy capital.
I really don't see it like that. I mean, shoot, like Atlanta is a very diverse place, like absolutely. But you guys also have to understand, like, Atlanta is still the South. Like, it's not like there are no men who fit you guys' traditional standard of what a man should be like. Like, I absolutely see that happening there. What I will say, number one, I have definitely seen more of that in LA. But also,
more power to them. It's just not for me.
Yeah. So it's just like, I've definitely seen more of that in LA, but also it's just like people are making less money. So it's like, if people are not making as much money, one of the things that is like pushed to us, one of the things that we are told like makes a masculine man is him being able to provide.
Right.
And if you can't do that, then you're not going to feel like a man. And so it's like there are certain expectations that we have for people where, the economy is so bad. There's so many ways that people used to make money that they are no longer able to make money. And although there are new ways, like you can make money literally with your phone now, a lot of that also like is like little cheap like shortcuts that people believe that they're like little cheap shortcuts that can get them a few $100s here and there, like sports betting and things like that. So people are just not as financially stable anymore, and so I think that like also contributes to certain things. And the cost of living is very high. So yeah.
Does potential partner's political view, is that a factor for you?
Absolutely. But I also think that like it doesn't, like, I'm not sitting here on a first date saying, oh, like, so what's your opinion on the recent election, or do you actually think that Mom Donnie is doing a good job in New York? Like, I'm not asking those questions, but I think that I can kind of see, like, based on the things that the information that somebody offers to me, what is like their political undertone. And I think that also because I comment on so many political issues on my social media, and in addition to that, a lot of my life's work has to do with politics, and so I think that somebody who has like extremely conflicting beliefs with me would obviously know that like I'm not going to agree with them on certain things. Yeah. I haven't really had any issues with that, though.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Well, see, that speaks to your taste. You know the clock better than I do, Amara Kioni Abdullah. What do you want to leave us with this morning?
I don't know. My generation is kind of like, we are in a period of trying to, like, figure things out, like, figure out what a relationship looks like for men and women, because, like I said, we are in a, like, we are existing in a way that we have never existed before. And so I think that we're just kind of like floating along, trying to figure things out for ourselves. And, you know, it's definitely a little messy, as you would say, but shoot, I have a good time in my life, and so, yeah.
And I love that, because I think that is the key, no matter what you're doing, right? No matter what you're doing, keeping a positive attitude and being present and you know me, Amara Kioni, Abdullah. Butterflies and rainbows and unicorns and ponies. Thank you so much for coming by. It's been fun talking with you.
I've had fun being here.
Absolutely. You belong here. And look, don't forget to tap in with me on social media. I'm at Deprima Radio, DIPRIMA, and then radio. You can find KBLA obviously everywhere at KBLA 1580. And we encourage you to like, follow, subscribe, get the app and all of that good stuff. And I want to remind you that I like to end with a quote, but I don't have time today, so I will see you tomorrow. Until next time, KBLA delegation, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Illinois is strengthening protections for women and domestic violence survivors.
The first bill, Senate Bill 3325, strengthens menopause education and training so that healthcare providers can give patients the information they need to navigate a truly important stage of life.
That's Governor J.B. Pritzker, who has signed new legislation that expands orders of protection to cover digital harassment and other forms of technology-facilitated abuse. Former President Joe Biden's cancer has spread, according to his son Hunter Biden. In an interview with